Did you know that nearly 40% of motorcycle engine failures are caused by bad riding habits, not mechanical defects? According to industry reports, most engine damage comes from simple mistakes riders make every day. Mistakes that could cost you thousands in repairs, or even destroy your bike for good. So today, we're exposing 10 horrible riding habits that are quietly running your motorcycle's engine and draining your wallet in the process. Stick around until the end, because even experienced riders are guilty of some of these mistakes, and fixing them could keep your bike running strong for years to come. Let's dive in. Number 1. Revving the engine when cold. You love the sound of your motorcycle, and the temptation to twist the throttle the moment you start it up is real. But here's the problem. Revving a cold engine is one of the quickest ways to damage it. When your bike has been sitting for hours, especially overnight, all the engine oil settles in the sump, away from the critical components, like the pistons, cylinder walls, bearings, and camshafts. The moment you hit that starter button, your oil pump kicks in, but it takes a few seconds to circulate oil throughout the engine. If you rev it aggressively before the oil has fully reached all moving parts, you're forcing dry metal-on-metal contact, which causes premature wear and microscopic damage that adds up over time. And if you're riding in cold weather, it's even worse. Cold oil is thicker and moves much slower, meaning it takes even longer to properly lubricate the engine. When you rev a cold engine, you're putting massive stress on the internal components, increasing the risk of scoring the cylinder walls, excessive piston wear, and even long-term valve train damage. So, what's the right way to do it? Simple. Start your bike and let it idle for at least 30 to 60 seconds before giving it any throttle. If the temperature is below freezing, give it a full minute or two to warm up before riding. And when you do start moving, keep your throttle inputs light for the first few miles. This allows the oil to fully warm up and reach its optimal viscosity. Number 2. Lugging the engine at low RPMs. Lugging the engine while riding at too low an RPM in a high gear puts excessive strain on your engine, transmission, and crankshaft bearings, leading to long-term damage. It's like trying to pedal a bicycle in the hardest gear from a standstill. You're forcing the engine to work harder than it should, and it's not happy about it. Here's what happens when you lug your engine. Instead of running smoothly, it starts to knock, vibrate, and struggle, which increases stress on internal components. The crankshaft and connecting rods take the brunt of this abuse, and over time, the extra load can lead to premature bearing wear, misfires, and even engine overheating. Some modern motorcycles come with knock sensors that help prevent serious damage, but they can't completely eliminate the strain on your engine. The fix? Keep your RPMs in the bike's power band, the range where your engine runs efficiently. If your bike feels like it's chugging or struggling to accelerate smoothly, downshift to a lower gear. Your engine is designed to rev. It's actually healthier to let it spin freely within the optimal RPM range rather than forcing it to work at low speeds in a high gear. Number 3. Using cheap or incorrect fuel. Using cheap or incorrect fuel in your motorcycle can lead to engine knocking, poor combustion, overheating, and long-term damage to internal components. Your bike's engine is precisely tuned to run on a specific octane rating, and ignoring that recommendation can have costly consequences. Here's why. Lower quality fuel often contains more contaminants, water, and ethanol, which can clog fuel injectors, corrode internal parts, and lead to uneven combustion. If your bike requires premium fuel and you fill it up with regular fuel, you risk pre-detonation, a condition where the air-fuel mixture ignites too early due to improper octane levels. This creates shock waves inside the combustion chamber, putting extra stress on your pistons, connecting rods and valves. Over time, this can lead to serious damage, including piston scoring and valve seat erosion. And then there's ethanol-blended fuel, which is becoming more common. While many modern motorcycles can handle E10, anything higher like E15 or E85 can degrade rubber seals, corrode fuel lines, and reduce fuel efficiency. So, what's the best practice? Always check your owner's manual for the recommended octane rating and stick to it. If your bike requires 91 or 93 octane, don't cheap out on regular fuel. It's not worth the risk. Also, if you ride a carbureted motorcycle, or one that isn't designed for ethanol blends, look for ethanol-free fuel whenever possible. Number 4. Ignoring valve clearance adjustments. Your engine's valves play a crucial role in controlling airflow and fuel combustion, but over time, they can drift out of spec due to heat, wear, and constant movement. If you ignore valve clearance adjustments, you're risking loss of power, poor fuel efficiency, excessive engine heat, and even serious engine damage. When valve clearance is too tight, the valves might not close completely, leading to compression loss, overheating, and even burnt valves. If it's too loose, the valves don't open properly, reducing performance and making the engine run rough or misfire. Most motorcycles have recommended service intervals for valve checks typically every 5,000 to 15,000 miles, depending on the model. Skipping this maintenance can lead to costly repairs, or even a full engine rebuild. Stay ahead of the game, get your valves inspected and adjusted on time, and your engine will thank you with smooth, reliable performance. Number 5. Letting dirt and debris clog your air filter. Think of your motorcycle's air filter as its lungs. It's what keeps dust, dirt, and debris from entering the engine and causing serious damage. But when that filter gets clogged, your bike starts to suffocate, losing power, running inefficiently, and even overheating. A dirty air filter restricts airflow, which forces the engine to run richer, meaning it burns more fuel than necessary. Over time, this leads to carbon buildup on spark plugs, fouled valves, and sluggish throttle response. Riding in dusty environments, urban traffic, or off-road conditions can make your air filter clog up even faster. If you ignore it for too long, your engine has to work harder to pull in air, reducing horsepower and increasing fuel consumption. In extreme cases, a damaged or excessively clogged filter can allow dirt to slip through, causing premature wear on pistons and cylinder walls. The good news? This is an easy fix. Simply check, clean, or replace your air filter at regular intervals, usually every 5,000 to 10,000 miles, but more often if you ride in dirty conditions. Number 6. Excessive short rides without letting the engine reach operating temperature. Taking your bike for frequent short rides might seem harmless, but if the engine never fully warms up, you're setting yourself up for hidden engine wear and expensive repairs. When you start your motorcycle, the engine oil begins circulating, but it takes several minutes for it to reach its optimal operating temperature and viscosity. If you shut the bike off before it fully warms up, moisture and unburned fuel can mix with the oil, leading to sludge buildup, poor lubrication, and internal corrosion. In colder temperatures, this problem gets even worse. When an engine is cold, clearances between metal parts are tighter and oil is thicker. If you frequently ride for just a few minutes, your oil doesn't get hot enough to burn off condensation, which accelerates engine wear and reduces oil effectiveness. The fix? Whenever possible, ride long enough to let your engine reach full operating temperature, usually 10-15 minutes of continuous riding. If you mostly take short trips, make an effort to go on longer rides occasionally to keep your engine healthy. Number 7. Ignoring chain maintenance. Your motorcycle's chain isn't just a part of the drivetrain, it's the critical link between your engine and your rear wheel. Neglecting chain maintenance doesn't just affect performance, it puts unnecessary stress on the engine, transmission, and sprockets, leading to premature wear and even dangerous failures while riding. A dry, rusted, or overly tight chain creates extra resistance, forcing the engine to work harder to deliver power. This not only reduces fuel efficiency, but also puts extra strain on the output shaft bearing, which can lead to expensive repairs. On the flip side, a loose or slack chain can cause jerky power delivery, misalignment issues, and even chain snapping at high speeds, which can be catastrophic. Proper chain maintenance is simple. Clean and lubricate your chain every 500, 1,000 miles, or more often in wet or dusty conditions. Always check chain tension and adjust it according to your bike's manual. Number 8. Repeatedly overfilling or underfilling the oil. Oil is the lifeblood of your motorcycle's engine, but too much or too little can cause serious damage. Many riders assume that topping off oil without checking the correct level is harmless. But in reality, overfilling or underfilling your oil can lead to costly repairs and engine failure. Pouring in too much oil increases internal pressure, which can cause oil leaks, seal damage, and foaming. When oil foams up, it loses its ability to lubricate properly, leading to excessive engine wear and overheating. In extreme cases, too much oil can flood the crankcase, causing the engine to struggle, burn oil excessively, or even stall while riding. On the other hand, not having enough oil is just as dangerous. Low oil levels mean critical engine components like pistons, bearings, and camshafts aren't getting enough lubrication. This results in metal-on-metal contact, increased friction, overheating, and ultimately, catastrophic engine failure. Always never guess. Check your oil level regularly using the dipstick or sight glass while the bike is on level ground. Follow your motorcycle's manual for proper oil change intervals and correct oil type. Number 9. Ignoring coolant system maintenance. If you ride a liquid-cooled motorcycle, your coolant system is just as important as your oil when it comes to keeping your engine healthy. Yet, many riders ignore coolant maintenance, leading to overheating, engine damage, and costly repairs. Over time, coolant breaks down, loses its effectiveness, and becomes contaminated with debris and corrosion particles. This can clog your radiator, water pump, and cooling passages, reducing the system's ability to regulate engine temperature. If coolant levels get too low, your engine may start running hotter than normal, increasing the risk of blown head gaskets, warped cylinder heads, and even engine seizures. Another major issue is using the wrong coolant or mixing different types. Motorcycle engines require specific coolant formulations, and using car coolant or tap water instead of a proper motorcycle-approved coolant mix can corrode engine components and damage seals. How to prevent cooling system issues. Check coolant levels regularly, especially before long rides or in hot weather. Flush and replace coolant every 2 years to keep the system clean and efficient. Inspecting hoses and radiators for leaks. Ignoring your coolant system may not cause immediate failure, but over time, it leads to serious overheating issues that can ruin your engine and leave you stranded. Number 10. Riding with a dirty or failing spark plug. It's responsible for igniting the air-fuel mixture in the combustion chamber, and if it's dirty, fouled, or worn out, your engine will suffer from poor acceleration, misfires, and reduced fuel efficiency. Yet, many riders completely ignore spark plug maintenance, leading to hard starts, sluggish throttle response, and even engine stalling. A dirty or failing spark plug can result from several issues, including carbon buildup, oil contamination, or excessive electrode wear. If left unchecked, a weak spark can cause incomplete combustion, meaning your bike burns fuel inefficiently, leading to power loss and increased emissions. In extreme cases, a faulty spark plug can even cause backfiring or difficulty starting your motorcycle altogether. How to prevent spark plug issues. Check and clean your spark plug regularly, especially if you notice rough idling or poor fuel economy. Replace your spark plugs according to your bike's maintenance schedule, typically every 15,000 miles, depending on the model. Use the correct spark plug type and gap setting. Refer to your owner's manual to avoid compatibility issues. Watch for symptoms like rough idling, loss of power, or excessive fuel consumption. These are signs your spark plug may need replacing. If you found these tips helpful, then do not forget to like, subscribe, and share the video with your fellows.